Take a Ride podcast. I'm your host here, Starks. You can find me on my Twitter handle. It's at Starks_industry. You can also find me on Instagram, One Closing Hero. I'm not here alone this evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you may be in the fantasy world. I have LT the Sage running the wing at the 3 spot. How you doing today, brother?
I'm doing good. How are y'all doing out there? Ready to go over some, looks like pretty hype games tonight, Stark. So I'm glad to go over those with you and give the fantasy viewers what they're looking for, man.
Nice. In this episode in particular, what we're going to go over is some interesting recent news here. We're going to do the best we can to keep this episode a little bit shorter for you guys. And at the same time, like I said, recent news, we'll go over some of these games. I think that's going to be important for this Tuesday evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you may be. And then we'll touch up on a Dynasty player. Then we'll get into the clutch shots. So real quick commercial, you guys make sure you check out newlifefantasy.com. Join our mailing list. Not only that, join as a member on the forum. So that way you guys can check out the extra additional pieces of information that we talk about amongst each other in that particular format, because we are going to be running a listener league. So be on the lookout for that. Jacob, his article is going to be released out here tomorrow for another Christmas special that he's been doing. So just be on the lookout for that tomorrow, Wednesday, that is. And so make sure you subscribe that that button there on YouTube. That LT's putting that power into that YouTube channel for us. Make sure you hit that dinner bell. It's dinner time. Make sure you comment below. Also give us a thumbs up, and then obviously subscribe to the Take a Ride podcast. It helps us to be man, this is a good one tonight. Going to be potentially helping. It helps us out. Whatever. Goodness. So with that being said, this is going to be one of them nights, LT. So with that being said, I'm ready to take people on for a ride. LT, I'll pass you the ball there on the recent news there, brother.
I appreciate that, man. Hey, man, it's okay, man. Everyone has the slippies every now and then, man. But we're gonna jump into this recent news, y'all. First recent news, unfortunately, Orochimaru, or as you guys call him, Rui Hachimura. Unfortunately, that growing contusion we mentioned on the last podcast yesterday is going to put him out for at least 5 games. So unfortunately, he's been producing at a pretty high clip for this Wizards team. If you look at his stats, if you look at those numbers, he's been doing pretty good. He's putting up some good value there as far as on that team is concerned. So there is going to be some points and some shots to go around. Starks, is it pizza time?
Yes.
Oh yeah, sorry.
I think I think it is pizza time. I will say this real quick on the pizza time, as I got the Iron Man mask on. Real quick is Rui Hachimura, like you were talking about here. One thing that a lot of people don't know is he's been, like you were saying, LT, he's been cooking here, recently, but he's kind of slowed down a tad bit too.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
recently. So maybe, better things are to come to him. He's hovering around the 130 range. He was doing better. It's weird. But anyways, the pizza guy would get a nice boost in value. Another person that would get a nice boost in value is Troy Brown Jr. That's been playing a little bit better as well. And that's, Mo Wagner, those are just some names to keep in mind in fantasy in particular. So if Troy Brown is available in the 14 to 16 man league, I would definitely try to snap him up and work the waiver wire through him. I'll pass you back the ball there, brother.
Yeah, man. Also another player to keep in mind, probably already off your waivers at this point, but Davis Bertanicles, he's going to be also getting extra shots. He's already cooking. He's already shooting a lot, but without Rui in that lineup, Davis, I don't know. Do you think he slides into that spot, Starks, or you think he stays coming off the bench?
It almost feels like he's going to still come off the bench, really, because they need that punch. But, I could see that happening. I wouldn't be surprised there, LT.
Me either. I wouldn't be surprised either. They might slide in there. I'll definitely give Pizza Guy some extra run as a 6-man. Or maybe they'll deploy CJ Myles. Remember him?
Oh, shut up. Yeah, they could definitely deploy him. It's funny that you mentioned CJ Myles. I think that's actually a good one there. It's not a fan favorite thing, but you got to utilize them. They might go ahead and use them.
He just has a random 21-point game. But yeah, so that's for Rui right there, Rui Hachimura. And then we're going to go to our next set of news here, and that's with Cat. He's a little banged up. He's a part-time wrestler, as we saw with Joel Embiid. So
Man, that was sweet.
That was sweet. So he knows he probably does that on the side. Probably got suplexed, and now he's banged up. So we'll see how he responds tonight. And if he responds okay tonight, then into Wednesday's game, he may or may not play. So he is definitely the exact definition of questionable. Starks, if Cat goes down, who you think? Who do you think gets more of the time here? And do you think it really is anybody in particular, or do you think it's just kind of a whole team comes together type thing?
It's going to be a collective amount of the players in particular. I know Jeff Teague is a guard, but I can honestly see him to get more minutes. But another thing that we have to hopefully, I know you remember this name, LT Gorgie Porgy, man. He's going to get some. He gets the value, man, whenever Cat's out. So I wouldn't be surprised in that space. And actually, there's a Dynasty guy. I can't remember his name, but he's like, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to do some research at least when we get to the clutch shot. But there's a guy that a lot of people were kind of talking about. And I actually like the guy. He has a little bit of potential, but there's just too much. It's too much Cat, because we know Cat is going to be essential on the floor. And honestly, he should be there Wednesday. I wouldn't be surprised I would be surprised if he missed Wednesday's game, but I'll pass you back the ball, man.
Yeah. Was it Naz Reid?
Yeah, I think it's Naz Reid indeed.
Naz Reid, yeah.
In a Dynasty, that good call out, good catch of that. Yeah, in a Dynasty format, if you're in a long-term building mode, then he would be potentially a guy. It's just someone to watch. I'm not going to get overexcited right now, but just remember that name, ladies and gentlemen.
Definitely. Also, I wanted to take a quick look. I know. We're Gorgie Dang. I feel like he's been on the Timberwolves his whole career.
I know,
it's
man.
Crazy, man. He's always been behind somebody, whether it been Kevin Love before and now Cat. But I'm gonna go ahead and take a look here at Andrew Wiggins. We haven't talked about Wiggins in a while. Is he still cooking? He's still cooking.
Yeah, he's still cooking.
He's still cooking. So, we talked about Wiggins earlier in the year. Got to give him his credit where credit's due. He's still cooking, y'all, and he's been doing well. I see some of these averages, and he's even averaging a block a game this year. Can you believe that, Starks?
Good Lord, yeah, that's crazy and that's outrageous. And that's helping his value too. But got to respect it for what he's doing for sure.
Yeah, he's from last year. He's up 7 points per game. And getting that block per game. And he's actually averaged a steal per game for his career pretty much. So he's actually lower. He actually has potential to be higher as far as his value. That's kind of insane to think of. But I'll go ahead and move on to the next set of recent news. And this news is actually a Iron Man special. Stark Special went ahead and paid off some underhand sources and was able to come up with some interesting information about Myles Turner. Looks like several executives believe Indiana will look to move Myles Turner coming up maybe this year, maybe in the offseason, because he's not a good fit with my guy Domantas Sabonis. Now, this is your guy, Starks. Myles, he could see for miles and miles, but maybe where he's seeing is in another uniform, Starks. What do you think?
Yes, this is tough, man. And I think it makes sense in a way because it's hard for them to coincide with one another, Domantas Sabonis and Myles Turner. And I'm sorry, just let me know and steal the ball at any time, LT, because I know I'm having some issues here. But I'll say this. Domantas Sabonis, I mean, like I said, he's doing well this year. It's nothing to take anything. And honestly, I meant to tell Jacob, it's not that I don't like Domantas Sabonis. What I don't like hearing is I keep hearing Domantas Sabonis is the best big man there in Indiana. That's what is hard for me to swallow. Now, as time progresses on, I'll accept it when I really see it. But, last year it was said the same thing and that was put to bed. I'm not going to say it this year because if you guys were familiar with me this year before the season started, I felt like a regression is going to be in Myles Turner's way. And it is looking like that. But now going to this report that I found here, I know the executives long-term don't see that fitting. But the thing is, this kind of has always been the issue a little while here that, I don't know Indiana why they just now figured it out. But if he does go to a different team, I guess it would be like, well, how would his value be perceived at that point in time? It will be upon what team he goes to. If he goes to a wasteland team and he gets all the minutes in the world, oh yeah, he's going to be great. if he goes to a well-established team, however they orchestrate their offense, it could be good and it could be something that's shameful, and he could be a person that fades away, unfortunately. But I think Indiana, if they're going to trade him away, they better make sure they get the right players back in return. I mean, that's what I think. This is still tough. I still think Myles Turner is a guy that you got to have for the defensive presence and prowess, because I mean, Dippo hasn't been playing. So just wait until Dippo comes back. But, Sabonis, I mean, they could have traded him, but they signed the contract with him. But I can't, it's one of those hard things. But I'll pass you the ball, LT. What's your thoughts on this, man?
I got a lot of thoughts on this, Stark, surprisingly enough.
I know you do.
I know you. I'm sure you knew I knew. I know you know. But do you know? You already know what player I like better.
I know.
And the reason why I think maybe some executives are feeling this way is because you got to think of, we're thinking in fantasy, right? So in fantasy terms, yes, Myles Turner can make a better impact in category formats. Points leagues, probably Sabonis, to be honest.
Yeah.
But in, as far as future Dynasty leagues, Myles Turner is still young, still ready, But my thing is that in real life, Sabonis just has a better impact on the court, man. Right now, he just has a bigger impact, and so that is what they're looking at. I don't know if you saw this, Starks, but Myles Turner's been losing fourth quarter minutes.
As far as Aaron Holiday.
Yeah. So he's losing minutes in the fourth quarter to finish games out. And that's the start. Anytime you see a player losing fourth quarter minutes, it's never good.
That's rough.
It's never good. It's never good because that means that he's losing the trust to close out games from his coaching staff. So I'm gonna throw a big dart in the board here, Starks. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna say this here, and then we're gonna move on to the games. I would prefer Myles Turner in Portland than Kevin Love. That's 100%.
I would too.
That's 100%. That player, Myles Turner, fits way better with the Portland Trailblazers than Kevin Love ever would, because he doesn't have to score. We have enough scorers on that team, and he doesn't have to score, and he could be a defensive cog and have that presence down low that we need on the defensive end.
Oh, man.
So to be honest, if Portland GMs are listening, if Myles Turner is for sale, go get him. That's who we need. We don't need Kevin Love. We need Myles Turner. And that's all I got, Stark. So we can move on to the games from there.
Let me steal the ball real quick. Hey, man, you got my juices flowing hearing that, man.
There we go.
I would actually really love that. Mm-hmm. That move actually makes perfect sense for Portland. If they were able to pull that off, I would be more of my eyes being glued on the TV just to see that, man. Because, oh my goodness, because that picker, and I think what's not even say misleading. Well, Portland, like I said in a few episodes ago, as you know, LT's, Blazers is your team. That pick and roll is just so nasty there, man. And he could benefit. And like you said, he doesn't have to score, but I think points are going to be available for him for them cheap, quick, them get and go shots and the blocks. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. But no, I'll pass you back the ball. We can get to those games, man. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, I think that's such a great fit, man. I just didn't think Myles Turner was available. But as far as someone that could really help the Blazers take it and make the playoffs this year, man, get that trade done immediately, Portland. But we're going to go ahead and switch over to our next section, and we're just going to go over games with you guys real quick, go over some scores, things to look at in these games. The first game we're going to touch on, Starks, is the Atlanta-New York game. We had a section of Would You Rather, and Stark still went with Trae Young over Graham, and Trae Young responded by going off in this game, 16 for 29, pumping up the volume, 7 snipes, 8 assists, no steals or blocks. That's maybe the only thing we don't like about his game, right? Those stock stats, he could be better at that. But 42 points tonight. You got to love it. He's a killer. And you almost forget about him due to Luka just absolutely going off this year. But Trae's having a crazy year as well. Don't slight Trae. He is definitely on his way to a all-star start if he keeps it up. for sure. Or I'm sorry, All-Star, at least the All-Star game, not start, sorry. But the All-Star game for sure. But Starks, we talked about someone earlier that started this game and actually had a decent game. I'll pass the rock over to you for our guy, Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin Herter, man. And I know I had a lot of listener questions like, I'm tired of this Starks. Do I drop him? And be like, well, he's just a guy I just can't drop. There's just potential. His ceiling is not the highest in the world. I'm not saying that. But if you're in a back end bench player and you're in a decent, like middle of the standings, he's worth a player to have. And I know he had another injury recently, but check this out. He got back tonight. He started. He got good minutes, 32 minutes. He pumped up the volume, which I love. I didn't expect that, this game back. 14 shots. 5 assists. And he got a couple of
3 steals.
Stock if you could scroll up a little bit there.
Yeah,
3 steals, nice.
1 block.
1 block, 14 assists. And if you can actually scroll down a little bit too, there's someone on the bench I was looking at there that definitely. Appreciated. I think it was Alex Lynn. He did okay. You'll take that for 24 minutes. But honestly, another guy that I'll talk about in LT, if you want to, basically scroll back to the Stars, you can talk about anybody else after I touch up on them, as I've been, talking about DeAndre Hunter for quite some time. Mm-hmm. Now, a rookie here, that is, he was pumping up the volume. He was inefficient. But what you like about this line is, he's getting the minutes. 5 rebounds, 4 assists, got you to still 19 points. Now, this game, obviously, this was a high-scoring game, and this is going to be a weird line to say because of what New York busted up. Yeah. I wouldn't even say bust up. New York to score 143 points, that's just really weird. Crazy. But it seems like Atlanta opens up a lot of points to teams, but Atlanta lost this game. And I'll pass you back the ball if there's anybody else you want to talk about here, brother.
No, that was it. I wanted to just make a really quick note that Kevin Herter, after coming back from injury, shot it 14 times. That kind of aggression is what we want to see out of Lauri Markkanen, right? So I don't know. We had another would you rather section yesterday. Kevin Herter or Lauri Markkanen. I know who looks like has more confidence in their shot coming off of injury. But anyways, on to the next game, on to the next team here who scored 143 points for New York. And that's crazy. New York is not an offensive juggernaut. For them to score 143 points is crazy. And who's coaching the team, Starks, now? Do you know who's coaching the team?
I do not, man.
I don't know. Is it Fizdale's probably still got some?
It might be his prodigy.
Prodigy hands in the cookie jar because I'm still seeing Taj Mahal in the starting lineup. I know he didn't play the most minutes. I know Mitchell and Ness still came out and played 29 minutes. I get it. It's fine. But why isn't he starting? At this time, you're just this must be Taj Mahal's what is that thing where it's their last round, the last year in their careers and they go around. I forget what it's called. Dwayne Wade had it. Oh man.
Yeah, Dwight, the farewell tour.
Yeah, farewell tour. It has to be Taj Mahal's farewell tour because he's getting start after start after start. And he scored 2 points. He scored 2 points tonight. 1 block, and Mitchell and Ness, I get it. He got this, man, I just don't get it. It's so weird seeing that. But looks like Kevin, knock your socks off, has 17 points tonight with 3 steals and 1 block. So as far as a, somebody to look out for, maybe he'll get hot and catch fire here. You love to see it. But Starks, that's all I had. Everybody else, some crazy starters did well. I'll pass the rock over to you if you want to touch up on anyone in specific.
Yeah, just to confirm that the coach currently right now is Mike Miller, not the guy that was with the Heat back in the day.
Oh, I thought it was him. Okay.
No.
I was about to get excited, man.
Yeah, I was just. And I had to keep looking. I was like, wait a minute. Am I sure I'm not getting punked if it is that Mike Miller? No, it's not that one. I'm
real excited.
But Mitch Robinson, like you said, you touched up on Mitchell and Ness Robinson, had a good game. DSJ, like I said, I'm going to eat my crow this year. I'll just go ahead and just accept it. I know a lot of people are probably like, Starks is a joke because he felt like he was going to be a top 100 person. Yeah, I could call myself a joke. But the thing is, again, I took the risk. And, sometimes you got to just take that L for what it is. But, you got to take a chance. But anyways, he did get minutes this game. It's going to be tough for him, tough sledding. We got Elfrid Payton back. It's just going to be a whole mess and still in New York. Because, I mean, just like you were saying, like Mitch Robinson, he's still not starting. So that's just something you got to look at, but that's pretty much all I have. You touched up on everything already, so I'll leave it there. RJ Barrett was just very efficient, but go ahead.
Yeah, RJ Barrett had a good game. Marcus Morris, like we mentioned yesterday, actually, second as far as, or first time it may be in value right now on the Knicks. So, Julius Randle had a decent game. So just 143 points. You love to see it from the Knicks. Hopefully they can keep doing that for fantasy circles. But we're going to go ahead and move over to the next game.
They won't.
They won't. Exactly. We're going to move over to the next game, Sacramento versus Charlotte. And it looks like the Monk himself came out to play tonight. And that is crazy with 42 fantasy points. And what does the Fox say is back and had a good game as well. So I'm going to go ahead and touch up on Sacramento. I've been hearing a lot of buzz, a lot of hoopla about Harrison Barnes. Is he worth a drop now? And just based on looking at what's going on here, not yet. Look at the minutes, 37 minutes, shot it 17 times tonight. So He's a cog in the Sacramento wheel. He's going to continue to start. The only person that's probably going to be dropped is not dropped, but moved to the bench is Bejeweled as soon as looks like where is he at? Marvin Bagley did play, but he's not starting yet. But that's gonna, Marvin Bagley, once he gets up to speed, he will be starting. Let's be honest, over Bejeweled, and it's going to be De'Aaron Fox, Harrison Barnes in the starting lineup. So Barnes is staying. I think he's in there. I think he still has some decent value in deep formats. So I don't think you drop him just yet. Unless if you're in a 10-man league, then you shouldn't have Barnes and Nobles to begin with. But I'm going to pass the rock over to you, Stark, see if you had anything on here you wanted to look at.
I'm glad you still believe in Barnes and Noble because I don't. But yeah, just like you said, in a 10-man league, I'm not going to have him. Yeah. If you're in a deep format, you got to host him. And yeah, he's pumping up the volume now, but like you said, but Jules, Nemanja Bjelica, he's going to take the biggest hit, obviously, here as Bagley still. We know Bagley's back, but they're still trying to warm him back up into the environment there. It's good to have De'Aaron Fox back in this game, too. For those that was having Corey Joseph on their team, you can go ahead and cut bait at this point in time. I will be in one of the deep formats we're in a redraft league and keep it moving. That's just what it is. You can pick up those speculative ads and move on. Rashawn Holmes on Holmes. He's still starting there. So, you got to utilize that. I mean, it is what it is.
Dwayne Bagley didn't even play. I'm just going to say that man Wonderland didn't even play, man.
Man, DMP, CD. And he's go ahead.
No, I was going to say, it's just sad. You hate to see it. It's so sad.
Yeah, and we could go ahead and go to the Charlotte side. I'm really biting at the bit on here.
Last thing I want to say about Sacramento is that their rotations, now that their guys are healthy, are going to get tighter. So keep an eye out on those rotations. They only played about, looks like 6, 7, 8, 9, about 8 to 9 guys. Trevor Ariza was the last guy on the bench, so he doesn't really even count. So those rotations are getting real crispy and clear. So that's good. You love to see it. If you have any of these players that you see in this game specifically, you're in the clear. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and move over to Charlotte here, and Bismack Biyombo. That's my guy. I love my cheap big men and cheap bigs, Bizquick, Bismack Biyombo. Oh man, he is doing so swell for me the last week or so in one of my leagues. 4 for 7, 12 rebounds. No stock stats, but hey, I'll take it. 10 points too. Good old double. Looks like we had a Graham versus Rozier showdown on who can shoot the most shots and do it the most inefficient way. But love to see Graham's minutes. He's young and he's ready to explode, ready to put in the time. But their stats were very comparative tonight. So I'll go ahead and pass the rock over to you for some other players that you might be wanting to talk about.
Yeah, Cody Zeller, for instance, he had a solid game here, 17 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 blocks. Was terrible at the free throw line at 5 for 9, but you're going to accept those minutes, especially 31 minutes as a starter. Bismack Biyombo still deploying him. I want, for the listeners, this is a situation you still want to keep your eye on and pay attention to for those two, Biyombo and Zeller starting together, that's
very
definitely different. It is very interesting. So check that out, because I'll say this, if they're available and you need those bigs, those cheap bigs as LT talks about, definitely take a look at it. I mean, they're going to provide some value if they're going to continue to get these minutes. But the guy I definitely want to talk about, and I know you touched up on Graham Crackers and Rozier. Mm-hmm. They did, the inefficiency was just straight terrible. But my guy here, Malik Monk, I know this is another player. You know, I was wrong on DSJ this year. I was wrong on Malik Monk last year. I'm always wrong at least on one player pretty bad, because I was saying he was going to have a game last year that he was going to drop 30 or 40 points. This is the year I'm going to still hold on to that. I think he still drops a 30 or 40 point game this season. Now, I think this was a career high game for him today, 23 points, and he had 10 rebounds this game. That's a beautiful sight. This comes on the heels of Batum not playing also, so we have to keep that in mind. But the 4 assists, a steal, very efficient, 9 for 12, hit 2 snipes. I definitely love the potential of upsiding him in a deep dynasty format. You know, he might be a person that fades away, but again, I still think there's some talent there, and that's all I got there. And I'll pass you back the ball there, LT.
Definitely appreciate that. And the last, just to kind of compare with another Dwayne, Dwayne Dedman, but another Dwayne, the Baconator, also didn't play tonight. I'm sad to hear about the Baconator. I watched him play. He's done. Yeah, he's a dunster. That bacon's crispy, not in a good way. That is that game. We're gonna go into the Los Angeles Lakers, who lose to the Indiana Pacers. They have to be breaking some type of streak, because I don't know the last time the Lakers lost either. I know the Bucks and the Lakers had those streaks going on, but Indiana without Dippo beat the Lakers. The Indiana Pacers are for real, guys. 19-9 on the season. They are no joke. And so I'll go ahead and touch up on the Lakers real quick. Looks like LeBron had a bad game. Who was on LeBron? I wonder who was sticking him. But he had an 8 for 20, very inefficient game, hit none of his snipes, but still gave you what he usually gives you: 9 rebounds, 9 assists. No stock stats tonight, but 20 points. So you still love to see it. And that's right. Mr. Anthony Davis did not play. That's right. I forgot about that. So Anthony Davis did not play. I think it was a scheduled rest day for him, if I remember correctly. Okay. I did remember seeing that. I don't think he's hurt or anything, but so that explains why they lost. So I think I'm gonna steal it real quick. I was gonna steal it real quick. Why? The funny thing is like, if you're gonna rest them, why would you rest them against Indiana, like a good team? It makes sense to rest them on a weaker team, but go ahead, LT. I don't think people understand Indiana's legit this year. I don't think they're getting that. I don't think they're drinking that tea just yet. But they might start looking now that they beat them. They're not even. Indiana's not even at full strength, guys. So look out for them later on in the year as be maybe a top Eastern team going forward. But Dwight Howard actually had a 10 for 10 game. Did not miss tonight. Missed all of his free throws, though. But had 2 blocks, 20 points, and 6 rebounds. So he had a good game. But nobody else really stepped up in Anthony Davis' absence. That's why they lost. And we're going to move on to the kind of more interesting team. We know the Lakers are who they are. They're a juggernaut. But my guy, Domantas Sabonis, 10 for 15, 5 for 8 from the charity, 10 rebounds, 4 assists. Didn't get any stock stats tonight, but he does usually get you at least, falls into a block or a steal. And then 26 points tonight. Just very impactful on that end of the court. TJ Warren. Warren G, 3 blocks, doing his best Myles Turner impression. And that defense, I don't know who stuck on LeBron, but whoever did gave him fits tonight. And so I'll go ahead and pass the rock over to you, Starks, on a couple other people here I know you want to talk about.
Yeah, I know Jeremy Lamb had got hurt this game. So a guy that could be a potential pickup if he isn't already is Aaron Holiday. And just like what LT had mentioned earlier in the podcast on that recent report that we got on Myles Turner. Myles Turner had a pedestrian game, but Aaron Holiday was getting the fourth quarter minutes over, Myles Turner. And one of those things is it makes you, just like what LT said, it's kind of one of those things you kind of panic, but I don't always panic for those situations. Sometimes coaches just do that, unfortunately. But again, it's hard for Sabonis and Myles Turner to coincide with one another. But both of the Holidays, man, these are guys that are going to potentially get the minutes there, and it's well worth it. And Malcolm in the middle, Brogdon, had himself a decent game. How many points did he score there, LT?
14.
14. Not the best of game, but that's okay. But that's the thing. When you have Sabonis doing these games, and this is crazy, man. Like, Lamb wasn't 100%. He wasn't 100%. Dippo wasn't, there. And you're going to have some days that Malcolm Brogdon explodes. Sabonis explodes. So I really can't wait. And the thing is, I am a little concerned because I had said it earlier when the echo and hype train was coming out, just to go on ISO here about Dippo. I was a little concerned that they were going to like be really cautious and not even, I know he was doing all these 5-on-5, contact, whatever. Mm-hmm. And now it's just like, they don't even know when he's going to come back. Mm-hmm. And that's why I was saying, like, before that report came back, I was like, man, this is your sell moment. And that's why I was saying I'm willing to trade. And you've probably remember LT earlier in the season, like a few weeks ago, I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to trade Dippo in the Dynasty League for Devontae Graham, and that looks like the right decision right now. So now Dippo, to be fair, I still think he has stuff left in the tank in him, but I'm a little concerned with this whole situation in particular. So that's all I really got for Indiana. But, the Holiday brothers is two guys that I think that's important in Indiana from that bench, because not all teams have a strong bench, and Indiana has that under the radar bench of the Holiday brothers, from time to time. And then TJ McConnell can fill in the shoes from time to time. And then Goga, okay, this is why, okay, now I'm starting to convince myself that Myles Turner may go in Indiana, because Goga, man, and it's hooked on finding his guys, Batitzes or whatever.
That
guy's
I don't know.
Patazzi. That guy is a talent, man. And what Myles Turner does, this guy can almost do almost the same in a sense. And I really believe that this guy is a nice talent, and he's going to get a lot of DNP CDs because their bench is good, right? Mm-hmm. But that's just something that that's why I'm starting to think of myself now, that I'm convincing myself that I think Turner is going to go here soon. I'll pass you back the ball there, LT.
Yeah, I was looking at Goga, and I was thinking the same thing, brother. I was thinking, I forgot about Goga on that team. He can easily, not saying that Myles, replicate exactly what Myles Turner can do, but he can definitely slide in and have a similar impact on the game. And Indiana may or may not feel the complete loss of Turner. So and Turner, the thing about Turner, I want people to understand that he's excelled in increasing his offensive game. So he's hitting threes now. You saw he had 3 snipes tonight. So those are all good, but I don't think he's put it all together like I think they were expecting him to at this stage of his career. I don't know, man. I don't know. I want the best for Myles, and I hope it's in a Portland jersey. We're gonna go to the next game. This is pretty much our last game. We pretty much have that's pretty much it. On the games there. This game that we have, it's OT. It's not over yet, but it looks like it's over pretty much. It's Brooklyn against New Orleans Pelicans. And one of our guys, Starks, mentioned about having the top talent. I've been actually eyeing Jared Allen. That's probably why I knew the answer to that question. I've been eyeing Jared Allen in trades. I've been trying to eye him for maybe potential trades in a couple leagues. Like, I'm looking for big men.
Smart.
And he's getting hot. He's getting hot at the right times. And they're starting to realize, one of the things I told you guys earlier is that Brooklyn's starting to realize that Jared Allen is just better than DeAndre Jordan at this point in DeAndre Jordan's career. DeAndre Jordan he can coach Jared Allen. They're similar players as far as their defensive, but Jared Allen's a much better and much more offensive capable player in my book, in my eyes, than DeAndre Jordan. But he had 6 blocks tonight, Starks. Whew. 6 blocks, 14 rebounds, 6 for 7 field goal percentage for 12 points. Yeah. What a line. Yeah. That line right there is what you want from your center, right? That's a center-centric line right there. So I actually have been looking to try to get him in a couple leagues. So, and then my guy, this is my guy, Joe Harris, 24 points tonight, 5 snipes. So you love to see it. And Starks, I want to ask you this because I know this is we're doing a shorter episode tonight. So I want to ask you this question real quick. How do you feel about Kyrie Irving not playing and his injury right now, and Brooklyn being better without him?
Well, I wouldn't say the narrative is going to look to say they're winning and they're looking better without him. I wouldn't say that that's true. They're going to obviously play hard, right? Mm-hmm. Kyrie's obviously, you put Kyrie on a team, they're still a solid team, but obviously they were losing with him, right? Mm-hmm. But it's really weird, right? I will say that Kyrie's better with the team, but I do understand that Brooklyn has been winning without him, but that's just something to say. But let me also segue into this as well about Brooklyn in particular. I'll share a cheat code that I learned. I shotgunned you the first year as a rookie, and I appreciated it. It was hard. It was a hard pill to swallow. What I learned after the first year losing, that when you did that trade, LT, because it seemed like you were getting worse players. I'm just like, what? Why is he getting John Wall? He just came back, and but I didn't realize, like, I was looking at his value for the whole year, and he wasn't doing good. I was like, why was he after John Wall? Well, it's because he was buying him on a trade that he was starting to cook. Jared Allen, as you were looking, when we were playing that game yesterday, it made me think of that, what you just said, like, when you was like, that's why I guessed him Starks, because of his someone I'm trying to buy. You're a little smart guy when you try to buy players, and it's good. That's the way you got to do it in fantasy. Try to buy a player as they're slowly cooking, right? Because obviously, if it's too late and they've had too many explosions, then you're not going to be able to buy low on them, right? So you buy low on players as soon as they start picking up a tick. And I learned that from you the first year. So I appreciate that. For the listeners, that you can utilize the Sage's cheat code there that I shared with you that he probably didn't notice, but I'm sure he noticed because he's always done it. But I just thought I'd share it with you guys that whenever a player in a redraft or points format, if a player has a talent and he's been struggling a lot of the year for any reasons, like we had talked about going on this ISO, Jared Allen and that timeshare with DeAndre Jordan, right? We've had that most of the year. We know Jared Allen is the better talent, but it's like, how long is this going to happen? Now, Jared Allen is starting to cook. This game in particular, it's going to be hard to buy him now. But maybe the next 2 games he kind of has awful games. Then that's when you want to pounce on it. But, the games before that, that's just something to keep in mind. But real quick, Dinwiddie, as you call him, Spencer Dinwiddie had a good game. Now, legends of the hidden temple, Shirley Temple, it's going to come after you. Yeah. You had an awful game, but I'm going to respect it because for some reason, 39 minutes, I cannot take it. You're giving this guy all these minutes like he's a superstar in a sense. So I can't take it, but good for you guys. But I will say this, it's almost like you're destroying some of the younger talent on the team, but maybe you're not because you're winning games. So it looks good. The coach looks good. And I just want the players like Claxton to get more time, right? Or Musa to get more time. And those, they didn't even come off the bench, right? No, they were DMP CDs. Or no, yeah, pretty much. Radions Karuks, all these players, man, it makes me not hurt myself. It makes me sick to the core in a dynasty format that I can't see these players' potential to come off the bench. But that's what I want to say, and I'll pass you back the ball there, LT.
Yeah, one other interesting thing I want to know, Starks. Yeah, I do like to pick up players while they're cooking, but Jared Allen's been cooking. He's been cooking for a while. That rice has been boiling. So if you weren't able to, that rice has been boiling. So if you haven't been able to pull the trigger on that trade, this just cost you in a dynasty league, a first round draft pick. Now this game, this game right here is cost you maybe a higher potential player. That GM now is aware of just how good Jared Allen is going, and 34 right here, 34 minutes. All he has to see is his 34 minutes. It's all bad now. So it's a little late. What you want to do, and just real quick on this, I'll do a quick ISO. You always want to look at a player buy low when someone's trying to sell high, right? And if they don't know what you know about that player, the potential, they're going to try to sell high. Maybe they're like, man, I don't like Jared Allen. You want to jump in there, buy low from them, and then you'll see who wins out. Those are most trades are, two owners, two GMs who have different views on a player, and it's really up to chance. But you can always do your homework, read our articles here at New Life Fantasy, and get the inside scoop. So you always win those type of trades. And you got the villain in glasses right over here to the side of me, staring you the right. Yep, you see that. He doesn't have the glasses on, but they're pretty much always there, steering you in that direction. But I'm going to go ahead and switch over to our last little notes here on New Orleans. Not much to say other than Brandon Ingram and Jrue Holiday decided to play some pickup ball. Play some pickup ball here. Jrue Holiday shot it 28 times a night, and Brandon Ingram shot it 23 times a night. So yeah, they decided to play some street ball. They lost because of it. Jrue Holiday only scored 21 points, got you 1 steal, 2 blocks, got you some stock stats, 6 assists. So he still had a decent game, but he was under 30% here on his field goal percentage. So that's you hate to see that. Same thing with Brandon Ingram, under 33% area on his field goal percentage. But he still got you 10 rebounds, still got you a double-double with 2 blocks. So you'll probably still take those lines. Kenrich Williams. I heard some unfortunate rumors about Zion Williamson that they will be more than likely, unfortunately holding a little bit more time on Zion. So we probably won't see Zion till more than likely around the All-Star area. Maybe a little earlier than that. I doubt it. So just keep your eyes out on those things. I really got done in by Zion in one of my leagues. I went all in on him. Picked him up, I think, either second or third round, I'm sure. And he's destroyed me this year. And I've got another injury, so now I got to either drop Zion or drop someone else. So I got like 3 people that could go in an IR, and he's holding that spot. And it's about, I'll be honest, GMs, it might be time to just say goodbye to Zion and hope for next year. But then he might come back in the year and start going off. So it's such a tough situation with him. I'll pass the rock over to you, Stark, see if you had any ideas on that or on this game in general.
How deep is that league that you're in with the Zion?
12 man.
12 man.
I'm pretty sure it's the league I got.
What you had again? I'm sorry.
What'd you say?
How many IR spots do you have in that league?
Just one.
Just one. Oh, yeah, that's tough. And you're probably kind of closer in the middle to bottom of the rankings in that league.
I'm smack dab in the middle right now.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah, that's tough. I actually have Zion in that points league that we're in that listener league, and I started out slow, and I'm doing a little bit better. I think I'm in the middle.
Yeah.
But that. It is what it is. It is tough to have Zion in a redraft for a points league. Dynasty format, you gotta bite the bullet.
Oh yeah, Dynasty.
There's no way around. But I'll say this real quick on that. I think it's important to talk about. I'll just at least. I don't want to hurt. I'm gonna be transparent. I don't want to hurt the listeners' feelings because a lot of people are saying, "Oh man, Zion's going to be better than Luka," and like before the season, I'm just like, man. I don't know why people are like, the thing is when you jump into the unknown, as I always say in a dynasty format, you just got to make sure you're getting that value in return, because if you don't in a first round at that is going to be the massive hit that you take in any format. Right. And potentially if you're a bust, that is just going to damage your soul so bad. That's what I'm saying. If you're going to pay for a prize rookie possession and he doesn't produce, then it's going to hurt. Who's that one guy, Cleveland, a few years ago was a bust number 1 pick. Goodness, I can't remember his name.
Oh, man, his face is right. I can see his face.
Yeah,
man.
Face is my face.
Yeah,
face is
Bennett.
Yes, something Bennett. What is it?
Bennett.
Anthony Bennett? Is it Anthony Bennett?
Anthony Bennett.
Yeah.
Where's he
That's
at?
the stuff. Exactly. This is the stuff that can happen to you in fantasy when you pay that premium. I mean, Markelle Fultz too, right? He was a number one player, and people were going high in earlier dynasty formats. Now Fultz is playing a little bit better, to be fair, but I just wanted to say that out there in particular. And going off of that, I mean, I think there was something else I had to say, but that's pretty much it in regards to that game. We can get to the clutch shots unless you want to touch up on that Utah game. I think that's still going on.
Yeah, no, you're fine. We don't have to. I'm just gonna, for the listeners, give a quick overview of what's going on. Still going on. Isaac has 3 blocks this game, so just keep that in mind. 7 points, 4 rebounds, but he's keeping his block. We want to keep a tally on his blocks. He's keeping it going. So he got those 3 blocks, and then Joe Ingles is starting in Utah. So Royce the 5'9" finally is relegated to the bench, but Royce the 5'9" still has 27 minutes tonight. Still getting minutes, so he's still getting minutes, but Joe Ingles is starting. So that's, I know the White Knight had mentioned him, and might be time to, if he's been available or dropped in your leagues, might be time to scope him out. I know White Knight already gave you a little bit of a cheat code earlier in the week, but I'm reiterating that for him with Joe Ingles starting. But that's all I got, brother.
Yeah, I'm just going to say this real quick, and maybe this helps the player out, because when I said Ingram sucks last year, look what he's doing. I'm going to go ahead and call Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon sucks, man. So hopefully next year, he does good out of nowhere, because that's what I think of him. He's in fantasy. Again, listeners, not in the NBA. Not in the NBA, he's good. But in fantasy, he sucks. All right. So when I want to dive into a dynasty format player, I won't hold too much time because we're almost done. And it's a player, it's one of your original boys, I think, here, LT, I want to talk about here for the listeners. And it's Tobias Harris in a dynasty format. Now, this was the year that people expected him to play a little bit better, which is understandable in a sense, because Jimmy Butler moved along the way, and Philadelphia opened up the position more for him to take more of the usage. Right. So his usage rate has bumped up nicely this year. Now, the issue is, obviously, we're still early in the season, still young. He's actually downgraded maybe just about 4 spots versus last year, because he finished 35 ranked last year. This year, he's around the 39 range. So I guess, it's not even a knock really on him. So the things that's kind of changed with him is his rebound rate this year. He's upped his assist. His field goal percentage is good. His free throw percentage has dropped a little bit. So essentially, it's almost the same. Now, the only thing I want to say about him in particular, he's one of those guys that in a dynasty format, he's going to probably be relatively the same the next 3 years, meaning he's not going to get too much better, or he's not going to, regress and get too much worse the next 2 or 3 years. So I think around the 35 to top 50 range, well, I would say around the 35 to 45 range, he's going to hover around that the next 3 to 4 years. That's my thoughts on him. He's a good player. He's going to get you those threes, of course, those points. Some sneaky assists from time to time. He's not going to give you those steals or blocks, although his rate is higher this year, but he's never, the last 3 to 4 years, never averaged over a steal. That's okay. That's not his game, and that's all right. But for him to even average a 0.9 block, this year, I think that's really good. So maybe his defense has stepped up a little bit. Maybe he's at the right spot in the right time. And if that continues to be like that, maybe his value could come up. I'll pass you the ball. Is there any thoughts on, one of your original guys there, Toby?
Yeah, he's still one of my guys. I love me some Tobias Harris, man. The only thing that that I don't like, that has degraded for him is just because of the teams he's been on, is his rebounding. That's one of the reasons. It's one of the cheat codes with Tobias Harris. As you see earlier on in his career, he had this 8.5 rebounds per game back when he was on the. Hold on, let me go back here. The Orlando Magic. That's one of, and that's early on, 2012-13. Starks. That's one of those years that we were in fantasy with each other, and I did, 8.5. So that's the Toby I remember. He still hovered around 7s. Right now he's right under 7, but he was getting the last two seasons, one in Clippers and one last year in Philly. He was at 8. So that's the cheat code with Toby. Is he's a great guy to kind of help you with those rebound stats, and he's getting a little bit less only because of the team he's on. He's playing with Horford and Embiid, so he's just automatically just unfortunately going to get less rebounds because of that, not because of his ability. But other than that, Starks, I still like Toby, especially in the Dynasty format. He's old though, as far as old, not old but older. As you see, older. I'm not saying he's an old guy, but he's older. So regression, or the time for regression, is coming soon. So just keep out for that for Tobias Harris, and I'll pass the rock over to you, Starks.
Yeah, I disagree with you on that. His age is 27 now. That's realistically the prime rib pasta for NBA players, especially in fantasy. So about 27 to 30. But to be honest with you, LT, doesn't it feel like he's been in the league so long, man?
Well, you know why I said that? Because I'm looking at it right now. He's been in the league.
Treading on tires.
He's been in the league since 2011. It's about, to me, that's 9 years. And so I thought he was closer. I thought he was more like 28, 29. But if he's 20, that's crazy. When did he get in? That's crazy, man. But if he's still 27, probably turning 28 sometime this year, in this 2020. But
actually, next year in July. What's crazy?
That's crazy. He's young.
Yeah,
he is young. Wow. Okay, well, there you have it. Yeah, if you didn't know, now you know. Tobias Harris still got at least 3 to 4 more years there at his prime. So, yeah, that's good to see.
And then we're recording while games are going on. And as you guys know, Mike Conley had came back, but he basically was out the rest of the game again. So that report came up. And for those that have Mike Conley, again, I will say the regression, I'm sorry. I think it's really coming. The guy that's a pickup, if he's available, is Royce the 5'9". Unfortunately, he was the guy that was coming off the bench. And even Joe Ingles, if he's available. So we'll go ahead and get to the clutch shots here. Again, I don't need to make sure you guys go to the YouTube channel that LT's doing. Sub-Zero, subscribe that button. Comment below. Hit the bell. It's dinner time. Make sure you guys give us a thumbs up. It helps us out. Make sure you subscribe to Take a Ride podcast. Make sure you check out our website, newlifefantasy.com. Go ahead and join the mailing list. Join as a member. That way, you get extra incentives in that way. And also, we're running a listener league. So listeners, be prepared for that. If you want to get into that listener league, free competitive league, email me or shoot me a tweet, or just put a message on the forum there once you join as a member, and give me your email address so that way we can get things going. And then the clutch shot. Well, wait a minute. Let's see. Hold on. Mike Conley returned after 2 weeks out. Oh, man. So it's the same hamstring. So return after 2 weeks at Mike Conley this game, and it was cut short again because his hamstring acts up again. So that's hopefully better days are to come for him, but that's rough. And then I guess my clutch shot here, LT, is I really don't have too much to say. I was just going to say I appreciate you listeners for tuning in with us still. And I'm looking forward to see how LT salvages back into redraft 10-year anniversary, because he's kind of struggling right there. And even in the points league, you're doing pretty good. But I think you're doing all right there. But I'll pass you the ball there. What's your clutch shot, man?
No, yeah, man. Redraft league, I am struggling in that for sure. I've been dealing with some. Anyways, I will. My clutch shot is to keep an eye out, keep your hands on that buzzard for tomorrow. White Knight will be coming out. It looks like with a surprise stream blog that you don't want to miss. So just check that out. Make sure you take a look at the website. Starks already did the commercial, but guess what? You ever had a commercial play twice in a time frame between you're watching a show, commercial comes on, and the commercial comes on again? Well, guess what? That's what's happening now. Make sure you subscribe. Hit that. Starks does the Sub-Zero. I'm gonna do the Hadouken. And you go ahead and Hadouken the like buttons, and let us know if there's anything specific you want to see more of. Just put that in the comments, even if it's a little something, anything, any type of information you can provide us goes a long way into making sure we're providing you with nice content. So I'll go ahead and pass the rock over to you. That's my clutch shot, Starks, and I'll give it over to you, man.
All right, guys. You guys can find me on my Twitter handle. It's at Starks_industry. You can also find me on Instagram, One Closing Hero. You guys just make sure you give me a follow, ask me questions, and I'll answer at a prompt time. If it's not really fast, I do apologize. So I'll pass you the ball. LT, where can they find you out there, brother?
Find me on Twitter as well, Sage Network X. You can also find me on Instagram. I'm in Instagram all day long, _Sage Network _. And you can also find our guy, White Knight Jacob, at Twitter at Ain't Done Yet. Done has 2 N's in it, by the way. Just want to make sure you guys know that.
Yes.
So that you can find him there with his beautiful daughter in that picture. And just as beautiful as his daughter is his writing skills with those blogs. So just keep an eye out for that guy. And yeah, that's all I got, Starks.
Oh man, you do that so well for him. So listeners, we love you so much. God bless you. With that being said, have a good evening, morning, afternoon, and take a ride.